What's up, guys? I'm gonna give you guys a few tips on fundamental sectioning and application based off of a conscious hair coloring perspective, okay? So to me, there's only about 3 different ways to section. I think we get tripped up in our heads a little bit of the time, thinking that there's all these options out there because everything looks so different, but it's really just a few simple sectioning techniques that you can use, and you can consciously color your guest's hair. So consciousness means aware and responding to your surroundings. So when we're doing a color application on a haircut, we need to be aware of what we're working with first. So that's the first tip, is don't get so caught up thinking there's this sectioning pattern, this sectioning pattern, this sectioning pattern, and I have to implement them, and that's gonna give me the results, because that is not the way the hair coloring works. We've got to be aware of, where is the haircut weight line laying? Is there fringe? Are there layers? Is it one length? Do they wear their hair in a ponytail? So all of this happens in the consultation. When I'm doing color application, the majority of my planning comes first. So I go through all of these steps in my mind, and then whenever I go to do the application, it's really quick, like 15 to 30-minute application, especially when I'm doing balayage or hair contour. It's a lot of just planning in your head. So just a quick example of a horizontal application. So this is gonna give you two-dimensional. Two-dimensional means you're gonna see it only on 2 planes. So it's gonna be sitting on top of the hair, and it'll also lay underneath the hair on top, okay? So what that would look like, especially if you're doing a foil conversion, is we're not really using any over direction, and we're not using a lot of elevation. It's mostly gonna be flat. So we'd be coming here and applying our color flat onto the head. This is gonna give us a 2-dimensional look. So imagine this when it's dried, and the way that it's going to be laying in the hair is gonna be just on top, like this. So it's gonna lay literally on top of the hair. We're not elevating it, so it's not gonna give you any of that contour look. This is great for foil conversion. This is great for bobs. This is great for people who have a lot of layers in their hair. So imagine if she had all these layers. I could go really deep here. Can you get real close on this section? So I'm gonna take my finger here and I'm gonna connect them. If I had a ton of layers here, I could go really deep down like this into this section of hair. So I'm having a vertical section like this, and I could do my painting on top 2-dimensionally, and I'm gonna have to give a lot of attention here to paint down this hair strand. I'm gonna do this really quick because I ran out of time trying to figure out my silly phone with a new update. So you can see how I'm not going deep into this, but I'm painting it on top. But imagine if there was layer, 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 like they had a shag. Now I'm hitting all of those points and I'm connecting it when it lays down. So you're not getting those steps within your haircut. So that is something you really need to be aware of, something that's very conscious of before you start your application, so that I can get a nice seamless vertical line in a layered haircut, okay? So that's one way, horizontally. Now, a diagonal is gonna give you more of a 3-dimensional look. So if I'm gonna cut my hair on a diagonal, it's gonna be starting, I typically start higher up and I go back, diagonal back, because most of my guests want to see more brightness around the face. If you take it diagonal forward, you're going to have more brightness back here. So diagonal back is going to give you more brightness surrounding the face. So we'll cut that here. And this is again going to give you more of a 3-dimensional look, because now we're able to work with some more shapes here. It's not flat. It's gonna have more of a shape, you can see. So we can start to build a little bit more 3D look. Get rid of this. So what I would do here, you have a lot of options. You can paint on the top. So I'm gonna take this. We can paint on the top of this diagonal section here. That's gonna give you more of a blonde impact, but really blended. If it's horizontal, it's gonna be a little bit more like a foil. cut diagonally, it's gonna give you a little bit more blending. So you could technically take this and paint this whole, skim this whole top section, or you can use a little bit of elevation and over direction. So if we pinch this here, you can see we lift that up and all of a sudden we have this point. Now if we paint that point, that's gonna give us a lot more pop. And this comes in mega handy when we're doing hair contouring, which we'll show you in just a second. So if we go ahead and paint that, now when it drops down, just like a haircut, when we're doing a haircut, we're not cutting it in the way that you would think it would lay. We're over directing so that we can build weight and we can create length in the opposite direction. So that's exactly what we're doing with over directing, is creating brightness in the opposite direction that we're pulling it. So if we pull it backwards, when we drop it down, the brightness is going to be over here. If we paint it here, it's hard for us to get as much brightness around the face area. That's why over direction is so important. So we bring that back, painting on that point. Now we would get that brightness around the face. Especially if she wears her hair back, she'll be able to see that a lot better. Okay?